Hello everyone and welcome to the Caribbean. We are in the island of Sint Maarten today at the famous Princess Juliana International Airport, and we are going to do a nice short hop over to another Caribbean island of Guadeloupe at Pointe-à-Pitre International Airport. It's going to be a short flight, about 30 to 40 minutes or so. So it's going to be quite a brief one at low cruising altitude, of course, but just look at the spectacular scenery over here.
Papa Mike Echo Shavik 18, runway 1028, via Echo.
In the Caribbean, got interrupted by a fellow pilot on VATSIM over there. We are on the VATSIM network today. We don't have air traffic control, but we do have a couple of pilots in the vicinity that should make our flight a little bit less lonely, I guess. But yeah, we are flying Air France today. We are back in the Airbus A320, and Air France 842 is going to be our call sign for today. That being Guadeloupe, of course, being a French Caribbean island. This is a default scenery that comes with the World Update Caribbean, I believe. So everything that you see here is default scenery, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic for not just freeway scenery, but default scenery. Just look at the islands in the distance. You've got the boats in the water, nicely modeled over there. We've got the car park that looks nice and colorful, and then we have got the island buildings along the coast, well simulated as well, and I think the entire area just looks absolutely fantastic. Look at the water, it looks bluish on the other side, and then you've got the nice white sandy beaches with some yachts in the background, and then I believe you also have some of the resorts around the island that also look pretty well done. I'm sure some of the buildings are just procedure generated, but some of them I believe are handcrafted, like those hotel buildings at the end of the runway over there. So the entire scenery looks absolutely amazing for default scenery. Alright, so would have been nice if we had air traffic control in this area. Would make for a very engaging flight, but nevertheless, we are just going to do our flight. If some air traffic controllers come online, that would be a bonus, but otherwise we are going to just do our flight on the VATSIM network as and we just be on Unicom. We've already done some of the preliminary preparations. The refueling is done. Right now we are just loading some of the baggage. Passengers are boarding as well. So yeah, that should be okay. Not a whole lot to do, especially considering that we don't have air traffic control. So pretty much everything will be up to us to do. So yeah, it'll be alright. The textures are really, really good. Just look at that. Ground markings, nice and sharp. The aircraft livery looks absolutely nice and colorful. GSX vehicles look red today, really, really good. And just this frame, of course, looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, let's hop into the cockpit and continue setting up our flight. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit of our Airbus A320. I'm not sure why the performance is a little bit poor today. Let's see if we can fix that. Boarding is happening, but nothing is sinking here in our AFB, and it looks like boarding is supposed to be completed. I don't know, so that is interesting. Okay, so we wait for GSX to continue to finish loading all the baggage, and then we're just going to reset this and re-import our flight plan into the EFB. Alright, GSX passengers are boarding apparently. I don't see anything happening. Okay, there are the passengers boarding. Alright, let's see, passengers are boarding, but okay, now they are actually syncing together with the EFB. So a little glitch over there, I guess, with GSX. Anyway, let's look at our operational flight plan for today. We are flying as Air France 842 from Princess Juliana International Airport in Sint Maarten to Pointe-à-Pitre International Airport in Guadeloupe. Cost index today is rather low, up 9, so we're going to expect some steep climb to our cruising altitude of flight level 170. In terms of the fuel, 5,475, which we have rounded up to 5,500, which is what has been loaded into the aircraft. It is rather hot today, and passengers are just starting to board now, so we want to start the APU. But before that, we are going to do an APU fire test. That is in order, so we're going to do APU master switch and then APU start. While we are here, we might as well do engine fire test as well. For engine number 1 and for engine number 2. That is all good. Okay. Once the APU started, we're going to start the APU bleed for the air conditioning. Right, in terms of the routing, we are going to take off from runway 10 and then direct Papa Juliet Mike, and then Alpha 517 airway, and then Bimbo 2 Alpha arrival into Pointe-à-Pitre runway 12. Then in terms of the passengers, 177 for today, cargo 2,600 kilos. That gives us a payload of 16,700 kilos. And once you add 5,500 kilos of fuel, we're going to get a takeoff weight of about 66,000 kilos. Then we can do a quick weather briefing. We are here at Princess Juliana International. Winds are okay, 130 degrees 6 knots. Variable, of course, but visibility is really good. We've got some few clouds. And the temperature is 33 as we saw, and QNH 1018. Okay, and then our destination, which is going to be Larizette Pointe-à-Pitre. Winds are 12 knots, so very, very windy. Variable, of course, visibility is okay, some few clouds at 3000. Temperature is 32, so hot. And then QNH 1017, and you can expect some showers there as well. But we are going to just review that weather again once we are en route, because things can change rather quickly in this region. Okay, and with that, we are pretty much done with our briefing for the operational flight plan, and since we don't have VATSIM today, we're going to insert our departure. We are not, the other one doesn't have a SID, but let's see if we can take one of the available seats that's headed in our direction. What if we take the Juliana? We're going to take the Juliana 2. Yes, we are going to take that. So we're going to go with the Juliana 2 via S-Van. That should be okay. Heads in our direction, and our arrival is going to be on the Probably going to take the ILS Zulu on the Bimbo 2 Alpha and then insert that. And then we can have a look at it on the navigation display. So there we go. We take off, and when we make a sharp right hand turn, intercept the route to Delta 166 Juliet, about 4,000 feet, and then Esvan, and then Zapata, SKB, Bimbo, and then we are out. We have got offset on 10. We have got a discontinuity onto the ILS here. So let's see if we say ILS arrival, we go ILS, but we go via one of these two. Gonna go ridden. That is going to make a rather sharp turn back. What about Desto? Not so good. Let's see which one is the most appealing here. What if we just say no via? Then we go up to offset. Think I'd rather leave that for later. Going to configure that later, so that is okay. Alright, then in terms of our emergency procedure today, we have got a mountain on the end of the runway, so we don't think we are going to be able to do that climb out over the mountain with a single engine, for example. So we are going to rather copy the existing one, and then we are going to make the turn, and perhaps we are going to just hold here at Delta 166. There it is, and then after that we can come back, of course. So we will come back here then to runway 10. We're going to go back to the RNAV for runway 10 no star, and I think that's going to work out for us. Okay, I think that should be okay for now. Then let's see, boarding is completed, and we should have gotten our final load sheet, and we do have a company message over there. So let's see, of course we do have our final load sheet. So let's see, let's update the EDP information. We haven't switched on the APU bleed, so maybe things are a little bit hot in the cabin. 26 degrees and 30 in the aft, 32 inside of here. So let's switch on the air conditioning. Hopefully things will start getting better much sooner. 60.8 is now the zero fuel weight, and zero fuel weight center of gravity is 31.2. that remains unchanged, and that gives us takeoff weight of 66.0, 5.4, let's say. 66.0 is the takeoff weight, so we're going to accept that. This is an old load sheet, of course. And of course the air conditioning is already doing its magic. Alright, then with that we are pretty much ready to go. Let's quickly do our cockpit preparation checklist. Gas pins and covers removed, fuel quantity confirmed, 5,480 kilos, seatbelt sign is on. ADRs are set to nav, and we can check here as well. It's set to nav, barometers are set here on H1018, and when that cockpit preparation checklist is complete, now we can do our takeoff performance calculation. Runway 10, we're going to do a max on takeoff for today, sync up the final weights from the load sheet, sync up the weather as well, and calculate. So V1 135, rotation 135, V2 139, flex 54, That looks good to me. Flaps 1 for takeoff today, so we're going to say send to the MCDU, and there we have it on the performance page. Let's have a look at the transition altitude on the chart. Let's quickly link that up. Okay, there we go. We are here at Princess Juliana, so departure. We are Juliana 2 departure. So as we saw, we take off and then we go PJM about 4,000 feet, and then S-Van, and then Zapata. So runway, then D166J, S-Van, and Zapata. Think that should be fine. This is D1. This is D10 nautical miles from PJM. That should be all right. Do we have an initial climb? Do we really care? Actually, we don't have ATC, so we're just going to go all the way up to our cruising altitude. Transition is 5,000 feet. So 17,000. So our cruising altitude for today. All right. And with that, I think we are pretty much ready to go. Air conditioning is working now very nicely. So let's see. We have all our doors are closed, so we can disconnect the external power, ground control off, and we can switch on the beacon and the wing lights on as well. And with that, we can ask for our pushback. Before startup checklist, parking brakes set. Takeoff speeds and thrusts calculated. 135, 135, 139, flex 54.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Windows are both closed and beacon light is on. Before startup checklist is complete. Now, we don't have any special GSX profile downloaded for this airport, and the stand that we are at today, stand number...
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin
4.
inserted.
It's Alpha 4 is rather interesting. So my guess here is that we are supposed to push back following this line and then out and possibly a pull towards the front, or we can just push back straight onto what apron is this one.
Locking gear.
That's going to be on Charlie, I guess, because this is taxiway Charlie. But I have no idea what GSX is going to do, seeing that we don't have a default profile here, and I'm not going to use the quick edit pushback just to see what comes default with the scenery as the GSX pushback procedure from stand number Alpha 4. So let's see. Continue pushback, and we are going to do nose left.
Release parking brakes, please.
Okay, parking brakes off.
Commencing push. All engines
So
clear.
now we're going to announce
Start
ourselves
at wheel.
on the VATSIM network. Princess Juliana traffic, Air France 842, pushing back from stand Alpha 4 onto Charlie. Juliana traffic. Okay, and with that, actually, we are going to set our transponder here because we are not on the VATSIM network today. Alright, looks like GSX is going to follow the line. Interesting. Did not expect that all that much. because with most of this default scenery, the GSX doesn't always do a good job. So really expected anything here, but let's see what it's going to do. Actually, we are past the red line, so we are clear to start the engines. So engine number 2 start. The scenery is just really beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, please observe the cabin crew member closest to you as we are about to demonstrate the safety features of our Airbus A320 aircraft. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard our Airbus A320. Please pay attention to illuminated signs, including the following safety procedures. The safety card found in
Means
your
engine
seat
number
pocket
2
contains
is
important
started.
information about exit routes, oxygen masks, life jackets, and the brain.
That's it. Engine number 2 is started, and we can start engine number 1. Let's see where we are. Okay. Really good work by GSX here. Really good work. Let's see where they are going to stop. Are they going to push us all the way back like this, or are they just going to go straight out?
St Maarten traffic, American 49 miles 5 miles for an Alpha 18010.
There is that aircraft that's coming into land. Okay, so GSX just stopped us here. That is fine. I think it's alright. We are going to...
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Cockpit to ground.
It's fine. We are
We
going
have a good
to
engine start.
end it here. I think that's fine.
Unlocking gear.
They can disconnect. Engine number 1 is available as well. So ignition switch can go back to normal, and we can switch off the APU. And with that, we can pretty much do the after start checklist. Anti-ice not required. ECAM status checked. Pitch trim is 0.5 down today, so 0.5 set. Okay, and runner trim is neutral as well, so that's 0, and after startup checklist is complete. There we have the tow truck disconnecting, or
Tow track disconnected. Bypass
disconnected
being
rather.
removed.
And with that,
Left is clear. Right is clear.
we are pretty much ready to go, almost. Did the American land yet? No, it didn't yet. There it is. Let's watch that landing. Should be an interesting one. About a 5-knot headwind on that runway, and a 3-knot crosswind. Boeing 777. Very nice. Nicely done. Okay, and with that, we are going to taxi to the holding point. So, Princess Juliana traffic, Air France 842 taxiing to holding point Alpha for runway 10 via Alpha Juliana traffic. Okay, parking brakes off, and we can go. And we can do some of these checklist items. Okay, there we go. Flaps 1 for takeoff today. Alright. Flight control check. Ailerons. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Elevators. Full down. Full up. Neutral. Rudder pedals. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Flight control check is complete. The scenery is looking really beautiful for default scenery. I think Microsoft and Asobo really put some work into this scenery. One of the best default scenery, of course, in my opinion, that is. Okay, let's do a takeoff configuration test. That is normal, and we haven't switched on our taxi signs. And would you believe it, taxi checklist doesn't include switching on the taxi signs, taxi lights, sorry. Taxi checklist, flight controls checked, flaps set for takeoff, radar and predictive wind shear is on, engine mode selector is normal, ECAM memo, takeoff no blue. We are just waiting for the cabin to get ready, so we are going to hold here and set parking brakes.
Traffic, American 49 vacated runway 10.
Okay, very good. That runway is vacated. Just look at the details of that hotel over there. Looks absolutely beautifully detailed. Looks really good for default scenery. Okay.
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. So we are ready to line up. We're going to go strobes on, landing lights on as well, and we are going to switch on the TCAS to see if anyone's on final. Don't see anyone, and the other aircraft said that they are clear of the runway. So Princess Juliana traffic, Air France 842 lining up for takeoff, runway 10 via Alpha. Princess Juliana traffic. Line up checklist. Takeoff runway 10. TCAS set to TARA. Packs on for takeoff today. Line up checklist complete. The performance in this area is not so good, but I'm hoping that some of that is going to be fixed in Flight Sim 2024, which is set to release really soon. Okay, and there we are. We are going to start the clock and start our takeoff roll. 50%. Flex 54. SRS. Auto thrust blue. The throttle moved a little bit out of the detent there, 80 knots. A little windy. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up. Away. Very nice looking scenery. Nice blue waters. Absolutely fantastic. But let's not get carried away here. We have to follow the flight directors because we have some high terrain on the route. Just look at that. Possibly procedurally generated buildings, but still looks absolutely beautiful. Set climb thrust and follow the flight director down a little bit. It is windy, so following the flight director here is rather proving to be challenging. So aviate, navigate, communicate. I think we are stable enough to communicate now. Princess Juliana traffic, Air France 842 is airborne out of runway 10, Princess Juliana traffic. Okay. We are still hand flying that. I think now we can switch on the autopilot and we are going to go direct. Should we go direct D166 Juliet? Looks good to me. Flaps can go up and we can disarm the spoilers as well. Nice climb out of Princess Juliana. Would be nice, I guess, to fly around the airport or around the island, because on arrival to runway 10 you also don't get to see a lot really of the island, but the scenery around is absolutely beautiful. We are passing the transition level of 50, so we can set the altimeter to standard and accelerate to 250 knots initially, about below 10,000 feet. But for now, we haven't encountered any engine problems on takeoff, so we're going to say secondary flight plan and just say copy active. Anyway, that we are pretty much ready to go. There is nothing to see down there. It's all ocean with a couple of islands to our left and to our right over there, but no spectacular views out here. So 3,300 is our climbing, 3,300 feet per minute is our climbing rate today, with that cost index of 9, of course. For now, we are climbing over to our cruising level flight of 170. Nothing to see down, everything is water, so just sit back, relax and enjoy the rest of the flight. I'll see you when it's time to brief for the arrival into Guadeloupe, Pointe-à-Pitre. Right, we have reached our cruising altitude of flight level 170 and we are currently flying over this islands here. It says here that it's St. Kitts and Nevis. Haven't heard of those before. But anyway, too far down to make out a lot actually. But you can see there's some towns here and there is an airport over there, so perhaps one day we can do a flight to or from there, just to see what is up. Actually, would be nice to do like a Caribbean series where we explore all the, or maybe not all the airports, but most of the airports, these Caribbean islands. Comment down below if you want to see that. So yeah, for now we're doing Sint Maarten to Pointe-à-Pitre, and then we plan to do a flight back as well to Sint Maarten. But it would actually be nice to explore some of these other islands, so comment down below if you want to see that. Okay, top of descent is after the equal time point towards Bimbo. I think now is a good time to have a look at our arrival into Pointe-à-Pitre. Let's see what our options are. According to our operational flight plan, we said that we are going to go on runway, what's the runway 12, Bimbo 2 Alpha. So let's check Bimbo 2 Alpha on our arrivals. Bimbo 2 Alpha, there is Bimbo, and then offset, which is going to be our initial approach fix at 3,600. Let's see if that is what we have. Bimbo and then offset. Okay, then after offset, here is the runway. Let's look at the approaches. We want to do let's see, there was an RF Tango which I saw here off screen on the Navigraph that comes from offset and then in, but says here procedure reserved for reduced runway 12 operations with temporary threshold Mike Romeo 12 Tango and only on ATC clearance. So that looks like it's not going to do for us. What about RNP Yankee? Loss of RNAV capacity, follow conventional procedures or report RNAV unavailable in order to receive radar guidance. That is from offset as well. What about the ILSs? Let's see, ILS Yankee, not very straightforward. ILS Zulu from reading. Let's see, the other one doesn't show us reading, does it? It does. We have reading over here and there's the runway, so it would be nice if we can go from Bimbo to reading and then not go to offset. So let's see if we can go ILS. That was ILS Zulu, right? ILS Zulu via reading and insert that. Let's see how that goes. So that then goes Bimbo and then it still goes through to offset. So what if we clear out the offset waypoint? How does that go now? We go reading. So Bimbo and then just clear that discontinuity, and that will give us a waypoint that gives us a route from Bimbo to reading and then we intercept the ILS from there. I think that is going to do. I think that is going to do. So Bimbo to reading is a route that is actually Bimbo to Zulu and not Bimbo to Alpha. So let's see. Rather say Bimbo ILS Zulu, and then instead of Bimbo to Alpha we go Bimbo to Zulu, and that is exactly what we just created. Say select heading and track, and then we say insert that, and then back to managed, and that's exactly what we just created now. Bimbo to Zulu. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, nice. And now our top of descent hasn't actually changed, so that is good. So ILS Zulu runway 12 is where we're going to do, and it's got category C aircraft approach for 255 is going to be our minimums on the approach. 255 feet. Okay, let's look at the weather information as well on the arrival. We don't have 80s, so yeah, winds are still a lot, 12 knots, variable in direction of course, 130, 90 and 170, but visibility is good. We've got some clouds at 3,500, still hot, 33 degrees, Q181016. Got some showers of rain as well, possibly. So QNH 1016. So we can start inserting some of the information in here already. Temperature we said is 33 degree, and then the wind is 130.12. 130.12 knots. And that gives us an approach speed of 140 knots and full config landing. Transition level, is it flight level 90? Let's see, transition 90, of course. Transition altitude 9000. Okay. Think that is our approach briefing done. That should be interesting. The winds are a little bit concerning. Let's see, that's going to give us a 30 knot headwind. My goodness. Let's see in the arrival performance calculator. We say apply that METAR. We are still far out, 65,000 kilos. Let's see, what was our estimated landing weight? Estimated landing weight 64.5. 64.5 looks unlikely. 64.5. 12 knots of headwind, just as we've seen on Navigraph. That's going to be rather interesting. Absolutely going to be interesting. That headwind is going to be absolutely insane. But that's all good. We are going to only need low auto brake in any case, so that should be fine. We are going to redo the calculation, of course, once we have a little bit of certainty about our landing weight when we are close to the airport. Right. Top of descent is coming up. 3,600 is going to be our target altitude. And we are going to use manage descent, of course, depending on whether we are going to be able to make this, because let's see, Addons doesn't appear to have an altitude constraint attached to it on this approach. Initial approach fix. This is Addons initial approach fix 3,600. Let's see, above 3,600 above, but that's not a Addons, is it? No, it is not. So we're going to target 3,600 by Addons, and not actually above. What happens if we say above? Curious. We are past the top of descent. 3,600 is going to be target altitude. 3,600, and there we start. We need to slow down, so we're going to need to extend the speed brake. And with that, we have begun our descent into Guadeloupe. And there we go. Heading towards Addons now. I don't see a marker indicating to us that we are going to be anywhere close to 3,600 by the time we reach Addons. So perhaps would be good idea if we can do vertical speed. It does look like it's what the aircraft was doing in any case, so I'll just go back to manage speed, manage descent then. 10,000 feet is coming up very soon. QNH is 1016 we said. Was it? QNH 1016. I'm going to pre-select that. And we are just going to review it as well. QNH 1016. So 10,000 feet, we are going to decelerate to 250 knots and we can switch on the landing lights. Is it this? This one's. Seatbelt sign can come on as well. Okay, there is the island of Guadeloupe. We are back on the profile. Struggling a little bit, but I think now is okay to retract the speed brake. $64.9 at the moment. 64.5 is what we used, so I think the estimate was alright. We have got the ILS localizer now showing up, so we're going to go lock, and we have got lock blue and we have captured it. Still a bit far out. There is a runway flashing in the distance. Perhaps we can retract the speed brake some more so that we can get back on the profile. While the aircraft is getting back on the profile, we can bring up our approach checklist.
Cabin crew must now be seated for landing. Thank you.
Okay, approach is activated. We are on the localizer. We still don't have the glide slope indication, but at least
Hi, Captain. The cabin is now secure for landing.
the cabin is secure for landing. We have a message from our airline as well. We are not delayed, so that is always good news. We have got the glide slope coming now, so we can go say approach. And we are going to go flaps 1. And with that, we are in the island of Guadeloupe. We have got some wind turbines in here. I guess with the kinds of winds that you have here, would be a waste not to have the wind turbines to generate that much needed renewable energy. Okay. We are still decelerating. We are on the glide slope, but it feels like we are going fast still. So we are going to announce ourselves on the VATSIM network now. Going to go TFFR runway 12. We are 11 miles out. Flaps 2.
2,500.
Pointe-à-Pitre Airport traffic. Air France 842 is on the ILS for runway 12. 10 miles final. Airport traffic. Do we have anyone in our vicinity? I don't see anyone in our vicinity. But that is fine then. Okay, approach checklist. Barometers are set. QNH 1016. Seatbelt sign is on. Minimums are set. Auto brake is as required. Auto brake low and engine mode selector is normal. Approach checklist complete. Some nice scenery here of Guadeloupe Island. Seems like most of the cities on the side, and here a couple of small towns, I guess. Nice rivers around the island, and we've got some farmlands here as well. Really nice scenery. You can see some ships there in the distance on the island. We have ILS flashing on the side because you haven't switched on the landing system. And here you've got some more towns as well, so looks really nice actually. Let's see how does it look from the passenger's window. Beautiful. Then on this side we've got some coastlines, but it looks like no one has built on them. It's rather empty there. Okay, gear down. And then we can switch on the rest of the landing lights. Flaps 3. Absolutely beautiful here, especially on the first officer side where all the buildings are. Looks really nice. Flaps full. And there is the wind, of course. Landing checklist. ICA memo, landing no blue, landing checklist complete. Okay, what is our go around altitude? It is, let's see here,
1,000.
Don't know. Guess we are going to stick with 3,600 actually, so that is already set. Autopilot off, and then we are going to bring it in manually. The glide slope is already running away from us. We just flew the A319 that was very sensitive on the flare. I wonder how we're going to do with this one, especially with the headwind that we are facing now.
100 above. 300.
The puppies are saying we are a tad high, but
Minimum
the ILS is
200.
saying we are fine, so don't know what's up with that, or I just don't see it nicely because of the
100.
bushes covering the puppies. I do that now visual, so
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
come on. Come on. Good. I'll take that. Almost veered off the runway. Focusing too much on the flare. And floated it a little bit there. We are going to vacate to the left hand side, so keep it rolling. And we are going to vacate to the left hand side.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties.
Okay, that will be vacating to our left hand side.
Seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls, or internet access may now be used.
Okay, and we are out
Personal belongings with
of the runway. We wait to pass the threshold and then we can announce ourselves on the network.
Do take care opening the overhead lockers and items may have moved during
Pointe-à-Pitre Traffic Air France 842 has vacated runway 1012 La Raizet traffic. Okay, so we are going to switch off the strobe lights, switch on the taxi lights, start the APU, and TCAS can go to TA, or standby rather. Weather radar can come off, flaps can come off as well. Or rather, we are going to leave the flaps at 1 plus F because it's rather hot here. Okay, and with that we are going to have to pick a stand. We do have some freeway scenery from flightsim.to, so it looks really nice. The ground markings are very sharp, scenery is very nice and colorful. The only issue with it is that there's no nav data for GSX, so we are going to be unable to use it for our ground handling today. So I'm just going to have to use the deboarding process for the Fenix today. Okay, here we are, and perhaps let's pick a stand and announce ourselves on the network. Pointe-à-Pitre La Raizet Traffic Air France 842 is taxiing to stand 8 via Romeo La Raizet traffic. Okay, there we go. Landing checklist. Not landing checklist, but after landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear after landing checklist complete. Interesting that the after landing checklist doesn't include starting the APU, which one pretty much has to do pretty much as soon as they land. But it's all good, I guess. Stand number 8, as you can see, we are unable to use GSX.
Invalid airport data at this position. Services are not available.
But other than that, the scenery is absolutely fantastic. We are going to have a look at it in a moment. But for now, it's all good. Just see what it looks like from the passenger's window. We do have some ground crew, but I have doubts that they will actually be doing any handling today, or going to be, yeah, because how do we activate them? Don't think they are going to be doing any work for us. Stand number 6 is the one on our right hand side. We pass. This is stand number 7 now. Stand number 8 is that one coming. We can switch off the lights now because we are about to turn in. So here we go. This is stand number 8. Of course, we don't have any air marshals coming. But it's alright. Don't know what he's doing there. We can move forward a little bit more. But in any case, we are not going to be able to get this jetway to attach, so That is fine. Parking brake is set. We have got the APU on. APU bleed can come on. Flaps are set to 1 and we can leave them there. And with that we are going to go engines off. And with that, welcome to Pointe-à-Pitre Airport of Guadeloupe Island. That was a nice about 35 minutes from Princess Juliana Airport over in Sint Maarten of the Caribbean. Nice weather in here as well. Engines are off. We can switch off the fuel pumps now and we can start the deboarding process. So beacon light off,
Couldn't find valid airport
wing lights
data at
off
this
as
position.
well, and then
Services are
seatbelt
not
sign
available.
can come off and we can say deboard the aircraft. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm going to keep an eye on the ground services. Let's just see. We have chocks in place, so parking brakes off, cargo doors are open. We are going to have to ask for the forward stairs and then aft stairs as well, since we are not going to be able to activate this jetway from here, or at least I don't know how to. So bring the door, open the doors and let the passengers deboard. Hope the deboarding is still happening. We are not going to have anything to see outside in any case. Let's connect to the external power and we are going to read our arrival message from our airline. So Air France operations, arrival, there we have it. Right, there is no deboarding happening here. Well, we're just going to wait a while, I guess, and then we are going to reset everything. So you can switch off the inertial navigation system as well, and then since there is really no deboarding happening, we can switch off the APU as well, switch off the no smoking sign, and just switch off everything now. Okay. Right, that is rather disappointing that the default deboarding process of the Fenix doesn't work apparently. Or did we dismiss it? I don't think we dismissed it. I guess that's all good then. Okay, let's have a look outside and see what the scenery is all about. Set our transponder to 1200 and set it to standby. Okay, and here we are. This is the Pointe-à-Pitre scenery. Looks really nice for freeway scenery. This is freeway scenery from Flight Simulator. Everything looks very nicely modeled. We've got some construction going on there. Those are some cranes. This is of course the north terminal. I see that in the Navigraph charts there is a terminal on the other side as well, the south terminal, but there is no terminal building, and my guess is that this scenery, when it came out, that was still under construction, and it's possibly this one, or this supposed to be here where the cranes are. So if you have more recent scenery, may be able to see the north side, or rather the south side terminal here. But otherwise, the island looks absolutely beautiful. Some of the buildings around the airport are modeled as well. I don't know if those came as part of the airport series or if they came part of the World Update Caribbean. Okay, there is our APU off, or just turned off now, so we can remove that stairs, close the doors, and switch off our aircraft. So let's go. Ground services. Close the doors, close the cargo doors, remove the stairs. We have the GPU connected. Cargo doors not closed. There we have it. Right, so then we can go. Batteries off, external power off, and that is our aircraft switched off. GPU can get disconnected as well. And that brings us to the end of our first flight in the Caribbean. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one.